Brought to you by Hulu. Time to have great original shows and movies. Time to have Hulu.
Hello, good morning. It's a topsy-turvy Wednesday. Everything is new and strange. I have got with me, look at this, a Joe Starr. Hello, Joe Starr.
Hi. It's nice to be here.
It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited. I've got with me, as always, the amazing Kim Taylor Foster. Hello.
Hello. We were discussing me marrying Denis Villeneuve earlier and adding another name onto the end of my surname. So I will be Taylor Foster Villeneuve. It's not going to happen.
Look, someday I am rooting for you. Thank all of you for. Yeah, I like it. I think it would be adorable. Welcome all of you to SJU. We are going to be talking about some fun stuff today. We're going to talk about our top martial arts movies. Joe Starr, such a lovely human, is going to be talking to us about a bunch of the stuff that he likes. We've got some news about The Rocketeer. Woohoo! And then, of course, as per usual, we will be answering your comments and questions. I will do my best. Spencer, hello, party people. So let's talk about our top martial arts movies. We've got Shang-Chi's coming out. There's a lot of a spate of stuff. We just did, it doesn't count, the Iron Fist trailer, which is it doesn't count as anyone's top martial art anything, but we're very excited to talk about the stuff that we really love. Let's start. Kim, what are some of your favorite martial arts movies?
Well, I'm going to start by cheating a little bit because my introduction to martial arts on screen, let's say, was the TV series Monkey. Did you guys ever see that?
No, I don't know Monkey.
Please tell us everything about it.
Okay. You need to watch this. So this was a Japanese TV series. It had 2 seasons. It ran from 1978 to 1980. And there was an English dubbed version which made it to the UK. Now it was Japanese, but it was based on a Chinese novel, the name of which I've forgotten. And it was just insane. There you go. There it is. There. But it was so that there was this very memorable theme song, which I won't sing. And in it, you learn that he was, the character was called Monkey, and he was born from an egg on a mountaintop. He was a skilled fighter who became like this king of a monkey tribe. And one day he becomes immortal because he eats too many peaches or something like that in heaven, something like that. And goes around fighting not only humans, but also demons and monsters. So that has to be my number one, even though it's not a movie. And then it opened. Well, I'll stop there because I was going to lead into Karate Kid, and we probably need to stop there.
You know what? I love that you jumped in with here was my entry point, right? Like my childhood defining one. I'm going to watch this with my whole heart, by the way. This looks phenomenal. Because I was going to make a cliff note of my childhood entry was a movie called Seven Lucky Stars, which was called Seven Ninja Kids in the American dub. And that was my world changer when I was a little kid. It's not good. It's not well shot. The martial arts aren't great, but it's about 7 children that were my age who know martial arts. And one of them is dressed in the Bruce Lee jumpsuit and, all that good stuff. And I wore that sucker out. I rented that from Roadrunner Video every weekend. I watched it so many times. It's also just on YouTube. So yeah, we got Monkey, we got 7 Lucky Stars. Danielle, what was your kid one where you were
everyone already knows what I'm gonna talk about. I'm there are 2 movies that are my favorite movies in the world, and obviously I'm gonna talk about both of them. My one, when I was a child, obviously, I'm talking about The Last Dragon. Come on. Any excuse I have to talk about The Last Dragon. Talking about wearing out the tape, I literally, y'all, So there used to be a thing called tapes, and you would take this tape and you would put it inside what we used to call a VCR, and you would put it in there. And I watched this thing so much, I literally wore through the tape. Like parts of it would start, like it was getting really like thin. It was not beautiful. Talk about the Bruce Lee jumpsuit. There you go, right there. This movie, okay. So it is Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. I never say the full title, but that is the title because Motown's Berry Gordy decided, you know what Black people love? They love music, they love Motown, and they love karate. And so he made this movie starring Prince Protégé Vanity. And the idea of it being that Bruce Leroy was he got so good at doing martial arts that he couldn't go any higher, and it gave him an existential crisis. And so you follow this very beautiful, not great acting man through his existential crisis as he begins to learn how to get what they call the glow. I'm not spoiling the movie because every Black person talks about it ever. And so obviously, eventually, everyone gets the glow. The glow looks as bad as you would imagine it gets, but that is what happens when you reach the final level. When your mind, body, and soul become one. And that movie, I think, was one of the things that defined my nerddom more than anything else in the entire world. It had my love of video of people who did hosting, because his love interest was a host. And I'm sorry, I could literally talk about this forever, so I can't do it. Joe Starr, tell us more about your martial arts fandoms.
Well, because my goal for this stuff is because there's ones we talk about a lot. Like Spencer and I will always talk about like The Raid or The Night Comes for Us, which is a more recent one and stuff like that. And I always kind of try to be like, here's something maybe a little new that you could take a look at that maybe doesn't get as much love. Because I think you can draw a line from The Last Dragon to the Shaw Brothers, which I'm sure like Berry Gordy, RZA, like so many people like obsessed with in their childhood. And you see it throughout like the Wu-Tang filmography and in movies like The Last Dragon and stuff like that. But like so the two, if you were going to do like the starter kit, right, I think there's three movies. Two of them, if you're going to do like a Shaw Brothers starter kit, two of them I think most people know: Five Deadly Venoms, which is the one that, really started it all. You should absolutely watch Five Deadly Venoms, if nothing else, as like a film history. And then 36 Chamber of Shaolin, which starred Gordon Liu, which is, another. But then a third, which I think is kind of cool to watch, is the One-Armed Swordsman. It was from 1967. It's sort of a weird like Shaw Brothers kind of turning point, because up until then it was like there's good guys and then there's bad guys that like want their kung fu, and like the never between the two shall meet, and like the violence was kind of stylized and fun. One-Armed Swordsman is more like focused on anti-heroes, and there's a lot more blood and a lot more violence. It started Jimmy Wang Yu. It made like, it was like I think the first Hong Kong martial arts movie to break. Let me put on my Merle hat. But I think it was the first Hong Kong martial arts movie to break like 1 million at the box office, which was huge, obviously back then. But yeah, so those three I think super worth watching. Five Deadly and 36, because they're like the foundation, right? And then I think the One-Armed Swordsman is like a really interesting like evolution of those. But if I want to stop being a snob, do you guys want to talk about blood?
Never.
Do you want to talk about Bloodsport for an hour?
I know that you could, and it would be one of the most fascinating conversations that I've ever had. Like, I know that you could.
I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport, man, it's terrible.
Starring Breaking One's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Breaking One's Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ghost Dog's Forrest Whitaker. Never forget, and Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. It's horrible and great all at the same time. Like the martial arts are actually like the sequences are great. The lines are terrible. That's why they call it Bloodsport, pal. Like it's so, and if you're a big Stan Bush fan like I am, Transformers the movies and Boogie Nights, The Touch and Dare, he does the soundtrack. It's glorious. If you've somehow never seen Bloodsport, I can't recommend it enough.
Absolutely. Kim, do you have another one? Because everyone knows what my second movie is going to be, so it's not a surprise.
It's pretty hard. I've picked a few because they kind of follow on from one another. So starting with Monkey, which is sometimes called Monkey Magic because of the theme tune, but it is called Monkey, which gave me a very early taste of martial arts. I then kind of discovered Bruce Lee, and this was a very young age. But the Bruce Lee film that I was low-key obsessed with was Way of the Dragon. Because of Chuck Norris, my brain could not comprehend this hairy guy fighting against Bruce Willis. And it just was something that I kept returning to. But beyond that, quickly came along Karate Kid. And of course, that's one of my favorites because of the impact it had on around me, on my childhood, on our culture. Suddenly karate was everybody was into it, and we were dressing like Danielle, and even now, we all kind of practice the crane kick on top of bits of rock or wood wherever we can find them. I mean, I do anyway. I don't know about you.
Oh, I definitely hurt myself trying to practice the crane kick. I am not a graceful person.
And then, it brought us Cobra Kai, which I love now. And it's kind of recaptured, it's kind of recaptured that 80s nostalgia, which is quite hard to do, actually. And that's another reason I love Karate Kid, because it's so typically 80s. But then I was going to give a shout out to, no, I won't do that. I won't do that yet. I'm going to call out The Matrix, another obviously American martial arts movie that's also sci-fi and action, but it was so influential and brought elements of kung fu movies into the Western mainstream and changed kind of cinema forever. I think Chad Stahelski, who's directed the John Wick films and was stunt coordinator on The Matrix, said that Hollywood completely changed the way they made action movies and centered them around fight scenes suddenly. So in an age when, at that time, 1999, when VFX was huge and people were kind of reeling from it and criticizing the Phantom Menace for relying so heavily on it, along comes The Matrix that marries practical with the visual effects so beautifully, and then brings Yuen Wu-ping, stunt coordinator from Hong Kong, to America, leading to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Kill Bill, which he worked on with Tarantino.
Yeah, I think
that is such a good pick. Yeah, that's such a great pull.
Yeah, I think it's so worth putting The Matrix on a list like this, because I think you're absolutely right. You can draw a straight line from like The Matrix to something like the John Wick franchise and Stahelski and all these people that we're riffing, we're wearing their love letter on their sleeve, right? Like The Matrix is so clear cut, like we love this movie and we love this martial arts movie and we love this wire work wushu movie. this is an argument, I don't know if we're equipped to have. There's never really been a venue for things like movie fighting. So I don't know, what kind of format of a show we would need to make up to do something
fighting
like
about
that.
movies. That sounds that doesn't sound normal.
But where I love The Matrix as opposed to maybe Tarantino so much is I think Tarantino is I know this reference and either I can kind of do it better or I'm just very proud that I know the reference. Whereas I feel like The Matrix and as an extension, Stahelski are here's our love letters. Here's the references that we love. Here's what framed us. And we're going to lean into them and really respect them. Not trying to start a weird Wachowski Tarantino war, but no, I think the Matrix should absolutely be on a list like this. And then if you want to lean into other kind of unexpected but good martial arts films that aren't might not traditionally be on the list, there's weird stuff like Brotherhood of the Wolf is a French martial arts film that's nonsense that you should absolutely watch. It just landed on Amazon, and every night for the past month I've been Torland, do you want to watch Brotherhood of the Wolf? Yeah. Is tonight the night that we watch Brotherhood of the Wolf? It hasn't been that night yet, by the way. Or even just some really goofy genre bending stuff. There's a martial arts vampire movie from 2004 that Kim just reminded me of called Vampires: The Turning that you should totally watch. Not because it's good, but because it's very fun.
Write that one down.
No, that's amazing.
Totally worth watching.
For my last one, I'm just going to group a bunch of I'm sorry, I'm me all day. I'm me wherever you put me. I just love video game adaptations of fighting games. I'm sorry, it's my favorite. Obviously, everyone knew I was going to mention Mortal Kombat, so let's just get that out of the way. The first Mortal Kombat movie is one of the best things that ever happened to me. I have seen it a million times. One that I will mention that most people, that doesn't get enough love, but I think is actually interesting. The Dead or Alive movie is actually really good, you guys. I know. No one has. It's actually really good and very entertaining. There is a whole scene where someone fights while trying, kicks ass, kills people, destroys a scene while she's trying to put on a bra. It's amazing. Dead or Alive is, obviously it's known for jiggle physics, which whatever. It wound up being one of my favorite movies. I love this movie so much. Do I love it as much as Mortal Kombat? I will never love anything as much as Mortal Kombat. Yeah, but it was really it's a really good movie. There are really good performances in it, and it features women in a way that a lot of at least Western martial arts movies do not do. The women are the stars of this movie, and it does not do the thing the video game does, where it's again, there are a couple of obviously male gazy things, but the video games are all male gaze, whereas this is mostly just women kind of really kicking ass. It's really nice. And it was the first time I saw it, I feel like it should be a cult classic up there with other everyone now, and I'm so happy for them. Speaking of the Wachowskis, I am so happy that everyone is really getting into everyone is now really appreciating a lot of their other older films, or a lot of their other films Speed Racer and stuff like that. Speed Racer is having a huge resurgence on social media right now. And everyone is really giving them sisters the love and the flowers that they deserve. This is one of those. It's not what, but I think that in terms of video game movies, people should be given Dead or Alive its flowers. It's not a bad movie. So I wanna play a game, because we usually kind of end these segments with a game. We all know that, speaking of Western martial arts movies, Steven Seagal is a shoot fighter. Steven Seagal will punch you in the face. Joe Starr, If Steven Seagal were to actually give you a real punch, what part of your body would he break?
Oh, if Steven Seagal were to I mean, I guess it's if it's present day Steven Seagal, I guess it's whatever part we agreed to pretend got broken before the demonstration started. I don't know if you've seen some recent Steven Seagal. Well, the one we used in Iron Fist. Man, that guy he's working with is doing a lot of work. That's some of the best pro wrestling selling I've seen in a while. But I think if Seagal were going to just give me a good punch, I feel like Seagal is the kind of person who would just sort of like grimace and like poke your collarbone with like two fingers. Collarbone, an underrated bone to break in a fight.
The full Xena, the full like I have broken off the oxygen going to your head, and now blah blah blah. Kim, what part of your body would Steven Seagal break?
Well, so I've just come off an interview with a fight expert, funnily enough, for an article that I'm writing, analysing Avengers fight styles and how to beat an Avenger in a fight.
Oh, fun.
So with that in mind, I'm really good with my arms. I'm good at punching myself. So if he's got anything about him, Steven Seagal, he would punch me in the elbows and break those joints so I couldn't punch him back.
That's so perfect. Steven Seagal,
he did his homework. He did his tape. Watched his tape.
Watched all of the tape on Kim. I think he would just a body part that I think doesn't get broken enough. My ears. I don't know if you can break an ear, but I think that he would break my ears. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all of the things. You're already doing them. To our channel for videos every weekday. Y'all know where we are. You can find us. We've got some news here. The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer is coming back. There is the return of Rocketeer. It is a Disney Plus movie in development with David and Jessica Oyeolo are producing under their Yoruba Saxon banner. David might actually star, which is really exciting. How are y'all feeling about a Rocketeer reboot? Joe?
I don't know. Man, I just want to keep talking about martial arts movies too. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, this is where I really have to start putting my money where my mouth is, because especially these days, I'm constantly just like, oh my God, like shut up about the thing that got ruined in your childhood or whatever. Or shut up about the thing that you're overprotective of. Like, you were 8. Let someone else have it, like let children have their cartoon Thundercats, like, come on, settle down. And then you bring up the Rocketeer and I go, excuse me, because it's still my favorite Captain America movie. It's just so fun, and it wears its heart just like purely on its sleeve. And the 50s kind of like retrofuturism with like Howard Hughes and all of that. It's just kind of like so of its time and charming in its attempt at, you'll believe a man can fly, but with a jetpack, so yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. I'm fascinated to see the approach, because like, can you make a hard on its sleeve Nazis get punched movie? Yes, you absolutely should and can. Are people gonna call it woke because they forget that the Rocketeer spent 90 minutes punching Nazis in the face? Probably. Yes. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's all about approach, because it's just such a thing of its time, and even just like an interest in jetpacks is a thing of its time.
I still want a jetpack. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of do too.
I want a jetpack so bad. Plus, I mean, look, I am a lady who loves bangs. If Hollywood does the thing where they don't give us interracial relationships very often. And so if we're getting David as a star, that means that we're going to get a Black version of a Betty Page. And I'm kind of interested in it. I don't know. What do you think, Kim?
Yes, I'm on board with that. But I mean, The Rocketeer for me, I thought Joe was going to be more enthusiastic about it. So that's interesting. But when I remember when I was never into the comic books. I've never read a comic book. I remember when the film came out and was underwhelmed by it. And I have actually never revisited it. But I understand that, you know, over the years, there's been a groundswell of reappreciation for the film. So I will revisit it. But, you know, I remember when it came out and it was I don't know that it was marketed properly. I felt like at the time it wasn't for me. It felt like it was some kind of period adventure romance that I was not interested in. And, you know, I know that it didn't do badly either. Well, critically, it didn't do badly. It didn't do very well at the box office.
Yeah,
so
I think I think they definitely abandoned ship because of Terminator 2. Because I think they opened on the same weekend even.
Right.
I might be making that up, but yeah. So I think I think you're totally right. Even in marketing, I think they were like, "There's no way this beats Cameron." So,
yeah. So I mean, I you know, you're better positioned to speak about the film itself because I don't remember it that well. But you know, they didn't get it right then for whatever reason. They didn't obviously get the series right either when they made that in 2019 because that got cancelled. Is it too difficult to get it right? I don't know. It doesn't make me very excited for it, but I love that David Oyelowo is involved in this, and that hooks me in for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm fascinated to kind of see what happens because, you know, I feel like we always hit these weird walls with like special effects conversations and stuff like that, where you know, on one hand, you know, you can be like, oh, well, at least they'll update the special effects. But then, you know, on the other, you know, it's like the Star Wars conversation, right? Where it's like, ooh, another CGI Millennium Falcon made out of pixels versus the cool model. And it, you know, I don't know. I'm definitely not, you know, stomping my feet and throwing a temper tantrum or anything like that. But I'm just fascinated to see like the take. You know, like what is our modern take on that weird, like pre-World War II optimism? And, you know, that like 50s Hollywood where it's like, you know, almost next door to each other, here's a beautiful nightclub made of seashells with like, the famous stars walking around, and then like literally down the street is the dirt, you know, the dirt airport, like the dirt airstrip where all the poor folks work. And I'm just fascinated, like what the take's going to be. So I'm super interested.
And it has to be a new take. And for me, I'm interested because it's like, well, what do you do when there's a Blacketeer? Like, how does that work if that's what it winds up being? Because obviously that winds up changing the conversation and changing what this is. And you don't get as much of that romanticizing of the olden days. Like you'll get a little bit more of the like, well, this is, you know, like the real of the period. You'll still get, obviously it's going to look amazing. You'll still get a lot of that, but you're not going to get as much of that that idea and that, like, you know. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see what they do when they put a black man into that position, because that changes the narrative, and that could be really interesting.
Yeah. As long as the Blacketeer also gets to punch Timothy Dalton, I feel like, you know, equal opportunity to punch a smarmy Timothy Dalton is important.
The Woketeer. All right, so we're gonna do as we usually do. We're gonna end with some of your questions. Raynard City Update Channel, hello, asks, what would be your martial arts animal style, Kim? Animal style, any animal style, what would be it?
Yeah, well, because I have 2 dogs and I can study them closely, it would be dog, but small dog, because small dogs are kind of more about psyching out and less about the power. And yeah, so I think I'd play mind games like and give it a lot of bark, and that would psych my opponent out in theory.
Oh, that's perfect. Joe Starr.
I gotta go. I've gotta go otter style. A little goofy, a little lazy, but can get their shit together when they need to. Yeah, probably a lot of belly-based attacks. Yeah, I gotta go otter style.
Oh man, just like me. Okay, well that's hard now.
Oh no.
I would have said, otter or panda, but panda, like now we've learned that I guess pandas are good at martial arts or whatever. Is there like a I guess I would go cat style, just in terms of the way that my cats are and that they don't like me at all. And so it would just be a fighting style filled with side eye, just a side eye martial arts style.
I like, I think
the eyes are important.
Yes,
for a Shaolin monk. Yeah, your side eye is really lousy. Yeah.
My fight expert that I was talking to said, it's important to have the eyes of a tiger. So, have the eyes of a domestic cat.
Mm-hmm.
They made a whole song about it. Like, it's obviously like really, really
it's important. It's clearly important.
F-Pot Entertainment asks, turn an existing movie into a martial arts movie that isn't already one. Oh, that is a hard ask. Joe Starr, you got any ideas?
Come on.
I know.
Hang on.
For some reason, I'm sorry, Joe. I thought I'd give you some thinking time.
Kim, please.
No, thank you.
Pretty Woman jumped into my head. I'm not really, but I thought that before I've really thought it through. So I'm not
that's
sure how.
Amazing. Like, imagine
all
her
of this instinct. I like this.
Imagine her going into that store, fighting a bunch of like women who were trying to keep her from getting her perfect dress, and like at the end, just like boom, big mistake, huge. That's amazing.
Break some elbows. Yes.
Breaking some elbows, doing some low elbow.
But they can't carry the shopping bags.
Yes, perfect.
All right, I got mine.
You got yours? What do you think, Joe Starr?
Ella Enchanted.
Oh my goodness.
The Anne Hathaway classic, Ella Enchanted.
I just think that, by the way.
I just think any genre where a girl either finds out she's an heiress or some kind of princess or something like that and has to go through that transformation should also have a martial arts B plot where they're also just like beating the crap out of people. I think, I think. No,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's perfect. I think Grease 2 would be mine.
Wow, yes. I started to think about that for a second, but yes.
It took a second to land. I was like, yes.
I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I love Grease 2. I think that her doing the cool writer song and dance, but actually doing it while she's punching and kicking. Gorgeous. Love.
It would be beautiful. It would be beautiful.
It would. I love it so much.
I did. You know what, gang? I'm so sorry, but I realized I was thinking the Princess Diaries, not Ella Enchanted.
Yeah.
Because I want Julie Andrews to be teaching poise and kata. Is the movie that I want to see.
Poise kata is what they call that.
Like gym kata, but for princesses.
Like gym kata. All right. I think I'm looking through to see if we have any other chat questions.
While you're looking through chat questions, I will say you should also watch Wheels on Meals, starring Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. If it just I think a trap we always fall into, and you'll see it in the comments. I promise you're going to see it in the comments. People are going to be like, you didn't even talk about like Enter the Dragon, and and I think that as movie nerds, we just like want to make you a really cool mixtape.
Yes.
So yeah, Wheels on Meals. It's Sammo Hung, who's one of Jackie Chan's contemporaries. He's a legend. You should absolutely treat yourself to like a Sammo Hung film festival. But Wheels on Meals, definitely. It's full like wushu Three Stooges, and super fun. So absolutely check it out. Sorry. Okay.
Oh no, that's fantastic. I'm still
keep saying movies.
No, please. Actually, someone asked like what we should. Are there other things that we should binge? So Joe, please. I'm super into that.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll give you two more martial arts movies, and then just because it's been a while, I haven't seen everybody in a minute. The things that I'm sort of looking at right now, but Flashpoint for martial arts, it's obviously like the Yip Man movies are incredible. Donnie Yen's the shit. Flashpoint is my favorite movie of his. He made it after he got really into MMA, and watching him like work MMA and a lot of like groundwork and like triangle chokes and stuff like that into his like on camera style is really cool. And as my wife will remind you, he wears a pair of jeans in that movie that he looks really hot in.
Hell yeah.
So, as an added bonus. And then one I saw recently is from 2004. It's called City of Violence. It's a Korean movie. Really great story, really like character driven action. Not the most original story in the world. Several friends reunite because one of their friends was murdered, and they go out for revenge. But very cool, and you should totally check it out. And then finally saw Pig, which I'm sure you guys have already yelled about it a bunch on here. It was beautiful. You should absolutely watch it. And then, oh my God, Reservation Dogs.
Reservation
4 episodes
Dogs
are out. There's 4 eps. It's so good. It's so good. You should absolutely watch it.
Last thing before we go ahead and wrap up, another one from Raynard City Update. Hello. What is the dumbest thing you have done while cooking? Raynard City says, I have once tried to make cheese on toast in a toaster during a food tech class. Stop listening to TikTok. TikTok is ruining a generation of lives.
Would that work if you put it in one of those toaster friendly pouches though? Could you do that?
Maybe,
because I pouches?
I have seen this.
Yeah, where you can presumably make things like cheese on toast in a toaster through them.
Well, so I will say, Kim, in honor of you, not in honor of you, because I actually don't know if you like this. I just know that like it is a thing, but I tried to do beans on toast, and I didn't realize it's a different kind of bean. So I tried to do it with like American style molasses based baked bean. And I was like, oh, I don't get this at all. This is really bad.
I would love that. I'm forever trying to find some American style molasses based baked beans to have on my toast over here. And they're hard to come by. But yeah, Heinz baked beans in tomato sauce is generally the accepted ingredient.
I feel like we can ship you some baked beans. I feel like this can happen.
I think that we have to now. And also, if you're in America and you want to do beans on toast, pork and beans, because they sell a product called pork and beans without the pork in it. It's the same thing as the Heinz tomato baked beans.
Oh,
hello. Joe Starr, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while cooking?
The first time I tried to get like really into cooking, and I was like, I'm gonna help. I remember I found this like chicken breast recipe, and I was like halfway through cooking it, and I was like, why isn't this working? And just hadn't realized even up to that point that I had bought turkey breast. So that was a dumb day. That was a really, really dumb day. Not particularly funny, but just stupid. Just really, really stupid. Yeah, those are my bad ones. I'd have to check in. I'm sure she has like a list that she can easily recall of just dumbass things, like well-intentioned but stupid things that I have done in that room.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But luckily, none of us has ever burned our homes down. But someday I will. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Someday I'm gonna completely mess up my home. But that has been our show for today. Thank you, Joe and Kim, so much for joining us. And then we will see y'all. I believe we don't have another show until Monday. So we will see y'all on Monday, where Spenny will be back. And the world will be righted again. So we will see y'all then. Thank you so much for popping in. Bye.
This episode was brought to you by Hulu.